begs the question again, is this about the foreign truck drivers? Again, has that been the main concern? And there's nothing clear yet.
This is not malicious damage to property.
This is economic sabotage.
This is economic sabotage.
Even if that's the government line, it is pretty much that.
But it has been happening for so long. Can the government please act commensurate with the seriousness of the crime? You know, and they're not. It's just happening.
Yeah.
When Beck is on Times Live, you must go read what he's saying there. He knows who the perpetrators are. And both the Eastern Cape,
KwaZulu-Natal
and the Free State commissioners say they're hot on the heels of the perpetrators.
And of course, you know, now 2 years since the July unrest in KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, and the unprecedented scenes of violence that we had seen never before in the democratic dispensation, at least, it begs the question of whether or not it's a nod back to that, or if it's again about the foreign truck driver situation, because that was a big concern at the time, that the trucking and freight industry had many foreign drivers that were coming in and apparently or allegedly, according to the local drivers, were taking their jobs, and so the unhappiness was around that sort of aspect for a really long time. And some of these guys, Clarence, were going into communities outside Johannesburg. I was there on the ground reporting there how they go in and trying to corral the community to with anti-xenophobic or with xenophobic remarks to try and spur violence in particular areas in and around Gauteng. It was quite crazy to see how that then manifested into personal attacks on foreigners living in those communities. And so oftentimes we had seen this, you know, roadshow of sorts of these guys spewing these hateful comments. And so let's hope that doesn't really go down that road again.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, otherwise we'll just be talking about this again in the very near future.
Sure.
It's just the nature of things. Groundhog Day!
Yeah, and snow. We're going to be tracking the snow today. Clarence, if you've seen the dusting of the white stuff in Sutherland, and of course the Matruisberg Nature Reserve, my partner was so upset yesterday we didn't go this weekend to go and see the snow. And every year I report on it, but I forget to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you must go to Matruisberg. There's some beautiful pictures of people doing their walks in the snow. I will go and do that in a couple of weeks' time. That is the News Diary with Graham Robenheimer. Of political parties, I think it does civil society to step in as well, because a lot of people trust civil society impact, and one such party is the Spectrum political party. Find out who the Spectrum political party is next. And of course you're welcome to be part of the conversation on 0725671567. Your calls are 02144605667. My guest is Christopher Claassen, Spectrum National Party. Welcome, Christopher. It's good to have you.
Good morning, Mr. Clarence Ford. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your show this morning.
It's always good to have you, and it's always good to hear. I was speaking to Walid and Amy earlier, and Walid said he's been in touch with you in 2001.
Absolutely.
En ek sê vir hom ek nog nooit van die Spectrum Party, maar julle lewe gehoor nie. Why is that?
Well, we've been on posters, we've been on national TV.
How many posters did you have?
Well, quite a lot throughout South Africa, 9 provinces. 6 provinces.
Give me a number.
Well, probably about, say, 30,000, 40,000. Not a lot, because we know it was COVID.
Not like the ANC's 100 million.
Oh, yes. And unfortunately not. We wish we had covered all the areas, every corner of South Africa.
Listen, at least you paid your posters. They haven't paid 100 million. Okay, so you started back then as well, was it?
Yeah, we actually registered our party in 2019. We were supposed to contest that year, but unfortunately, we didn't have enough time. And to start a political party during national elections it's expensive. To register a political party is 6,000, 5,000 just to register your party, excluding your posters and your banners. So we thought, okay, let it skip that election, and then we took the 2021 election, so local elections, much easier.
So where did you get 685,000 rand to start this political
party? No, we didn't at that time, because we're only when you contest nationally.
Okay.
But when you contest locally, the local elections is basically much less than that.
Okay.
So we managed to contest.
So you feel that politics is the way to what?
Absolutely, to freedom, to a brighter future for our family, for our communities, for our country.
But the ANC says they have delivered freedom.
Well, they're failing us.
Running water, electricity to people that never had it before.
Clarence, this country is going to be, there's going to be nothing left very, very soon. And here we need to stand up. The new political parties coming on board now. I think this is the future. We can fix South Africa. We just need the right leadership, serious, honest people, and it, because everybody knows about I'm Live. Even people from Australia, from Greece, they're currently listening to the show.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, Spectrum supporters that side of the world.
So there's a lot of people telling us freedom is like that, freedom is like this. What is freedom for the Spectrum Party, and how do you differ from, let's say, the DA?
Well, freedom for us is, I want to be free. I want to be a free South African citizen, where I feel free to do what I can do, what makes me happy. I want to be a happy South African citizen. In what areas? There's a lot of areas I can look at. I want to be free in walking in the street. I want to be free financially freedom. There's a lot of freedom that we need in this country, but I don't feel free.
That
People
means,
don't
of
feel
course,
free.
police needs to do a better job. That means you need to create jobs.
Absolutely. We shouldn't struggle, we shouldn't lack. And I think what I discover is, Clarence, is that our leadership. If we don't have the right leadership, then we will get nowhere in this country. And that is the problem. People laughing at the ANC, everybody's over 60. Where's the youngsters? The youngsters are so well educated, they got the skill, they are thinking ahead. We cannot compete with the youngsters today. I'm trying to keep up with the youngsters, but that's why I always make sure that I'm also ahead of new technology that's coming out. But it doesn't seem to be that the ANC really actually having any plans to bring even youth in. They're promoting it, but
So how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that in a country and a world where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and you have the most unequal country in the whole wide world?
Clarence, it's so easy, very, very easy. Spectrum National Party has got even youth as our provincial chairpersons. If we don't have youth and equip and train them, how is our future going to look like? So, for example, at Free State, we got a youth. 35 is young, is our provincial chairperson. Mpumalanga is youth. We got a deputy black president youth. Spectrum National Party is the only political party in the whole world, I would say, who has got 4 deputy presidents, a black, a brown, an Indian, and a white. And that is make our party so unique versus other political parties, because when we feel, if we're going to have equal representation.
Are they all men?
Unfortunately, they were women. Unfortunately, they have been dismissed for not performing. So we don't look at specifically at a man or a woman. We got a provincial leader, she's a woman. So the best candidate available for the post, we recruit you, appoint you, and we train you. And if you don't perform, unfortunately, we cannot sit with unproductive leaders in our party.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're still not saying, because you're talking about meritocracy, and the DA still says meritocracy is the way to go. And I believe it's necessary, meritocracy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're still not telling me how you're different from the DA.
Well, Spectrum has got a more modern solution for South Africa. We look at all the burning issues in this country. Because we look at myself, I'm an inventor. I got an engineering mindset. So I look really, before starting this party, Clarence, I look at the burning issues we're looking at. We are not even capitalist. We are not even communist. We want to be a neutralist, of a centralist in whatever we want to achieve in this country. And then look at all the burning issues we're facing in this country. Now, let's put everything aside. What are the current burning issues that South Africans are facing in this country? And we can have a long list. It is unemployment, it is crime, it is corruption, it is load shedding, it is growing our economy and boosting our economy, sustainable solutions for this country. That is what Spectrum is currently looking at, including our youth, our disabled, our elderly, our youth, include all of them in. So all our structures includes youth, disabled, the elderly, men and women from all different race groups and cultural groups, and that is make our party so unique versus other political parties.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing you are saying, you are not taking a view on capitalism, socialism, that belongs in the dustbin of history. And I agree with that. In fact, it is capitalism that brought us to this unequal world, and I would suggest it's the free market system that the DA, sticks out there as the solution to our problems, that has really brought us to this place of inequality. We've got to reverse that. And I don't think you can form it in or find the solutions within the way capitalism is defined, socialism for another era, and so to communism. We need to find new means of dealing with stuff. And is that what you said?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at, for example, Clarence, if you look at, there is a solution for South Africa. I've been involved, I actually was busy with the interview, starting a cooperative in South Africa. They call it Build New Cities. We were about to go to Spain. There's a place called Mondragon. Mondragon is a city on its own. It's a self-sustainable city. They have their own hospitals, own universities. Whatever they manufacture belongs to the people in that specific city. So all the workers are also owners and shareholders. Look at Orania. Orania is another example. My question is, why can't we build a modern country? Why can't we build a first world country? Where is the problem? 30 years now, we're in democracy, but we haven't seen that we're even moving close to a first world country. And Spectrum want to tell South Africans there, we have the ability to take South Africa to a first world country within 10 to 15 years when you get in power. Is it so difficult? Look example for KFC. You know, the people are working in KFC, they are just workers. When you walk in there, you only see workers. We are the owners, we are the shareholders, they are not there. Why can't KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, Pick-a-Pay, ShopRite, and all these kind of businesses not become a franchise cooperative?
Mr. Claassen, I'm going to have to interrupt you because we're going to go to news headlines, if you don't mind.
Not a problem.
Will you stick around? I'm going to speak to Barbara, and then I'm going to come back to you because I want to find out why you think the Moonshot Pact is a necessary political effort in the South African history of today. For now, time 9:31. Graham Rove and I am standing by with Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks so much, Clarence. In your headlines, this hour, nearly a dozen trucks have been torched on the country's busy highways in recent days, with the president describing it as economic sabotage. It's also 2 years now since...
Babsi, can you use that one?
Violence and looting in the July unrest of 2021 in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. Eyewitness News. More snow forecast as a cold front moves inland, and lastly, the law of the BBC in the UK has now suspended one of its male presenters for allegedly paying a teen £1,000 for sexually explicit programs. Find out more of these and other stories at 10 o'clock on Answer. EWN Traffic. Zane tells me there's an accident on Kommetjie Road at Blue Water Estate in Ocean View, and then robots out of order in the following locations. It's 35th Avenue and Mavis Drive in Waterdam, Armando Road and Waterloo Road in Brackenfell, Durbanville Road and Kendall Road, Everglen, Spine Road and Cutworm Street in Mitchells Plain, as well as Gombambeki Road and Link Road in Browns Farms. Traffic is faulty in all 5 of those locations. Anything else to report? You can drop us a WhatsApp at 072 567 1567, or you can tweet us at EWN Traffic.
It's a pretty blue day in the Mother City, 9:32. Welcome back to Views and News with me, Clarence, till 12 o'clock. I must say, I do feel as if I've played golf in the rain and the hail. I do feel like I've walked the dogs in the rain and the wind, and I did do it. I feel like somebody's kicked me in the ribs today for some reason, Barbara.
Yeah, it was absolutely freezing, and I thought actually, although I don't normally do this, I'll just quickly give a few highlights of what's been trending before I launch into my 3, and definitely hashtag cold front is one of them.
I'm sure.
And there are so many videos and photographs and stories of people. I mean, I've never felt, I don't know, and someone else said this morning, in fact our colleague Tatum, she said, oh, that's what Cape Townians apparently always say every winter. We go, it's just, I've never known such a cold winter. Apparently we say this every winter.
I mean, just tell them younger ones how cold our winters were back in the day.
They were really cold when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about.
And it feels like we're back in that mode. She doesn't even know what it's like.
Yeah, she's a ground, day
youngster.
zero kind of girl.
I know. And then other things that were trending were the Vodacom fire at Century City, and there's been chats on air about that. It's on our website. There's stories about that. And then, of course, the rugby, which was such a big win. I don't know if you watched the game on Saturday night.
No, I
did.
I was playing golf.
Okay, it was in the
I was
frost.
on the 19th hole. Oh, yeah.
But it was an amazing game, and we really did. Yeah, sure, we smashed them. But the story.
Look at you.
I always watch the rugby.
Okay, so you know what's
I'm
going
a
on.
rugby fan, yeah.
Okay.
Well, don't give me a quiz, but I sort of do know.
So I think the All Blacks, do you think they're going to bring us down to earth?
I think it's possible. Apparently that game, I didn't watch the later game, and they also did they really won, had a resounding win. And of course the whole drama with Eddie Jones last week telling us that we were bringing a half-baked team, and then after the match, a reporter cheekily asked him about that, and he said he was quite rude to the reporter, and sort of said like, oh, you'd want to bring that up now. Let's see.
I can't rationalize it. It's just an instinct. I get liquor. when we clap the Aussies.
Everyone, anyone but, yeah. I wasn't anyone but England, but it's also anyone but Australia when we live here. But the story I am going to talk about, which isn't funny, which is the other big trending story, which is Van Riemen's Pass has been trending for the last few days, and that is with regard to the trucks that were set alight on Saturday night or the early hours of Sunday morning. And I know, again, there were more trucks the following night, and this was after a gang of armed men forced 6 truck drivers to stop their vehicles on the pass in KZN and set them alight. And the videos and the photos that have gone viral of that are also really horrible to see. And there have been some good interviews on Cape Talk already this morning. If people want to go to capetalk.co.za, an interview with, both sides of this, giving their views on it. I know that the trucker union, I'm probably using the wrong term there, the SAATDF ASA Secretary Sifiso Nyati was on. And Africa did ask him, whether they were in any way, condoning the violence. And he said absolutely not. But he said, not enough was being done to sort out this problem of foreign truck drivers. And then there was also an interview with the Fleet Watch editor, and he actually gave quite a good explanation. And he said there was an issue with some trucking companies, which was actually illegal, paying sort of Zimbabwean and other foreign drivers a pittance of what they should be earning. So he said it's almost like slave labor, because you're paying them 2,000-3,000 rand a month to drive these trucks, and you're obviously not employing South Africans who would demand a higher wage, and that isn't a solution. So there's a lot of problems going on. And also he said, they all both said, the government hasn't done enough, that they've got together in these round tables all the relevant departments and the different trucking organizations, but nothing ever comes of it. And, they were saying, a road transport is so important in a country where the cargo trains are no longer working as they should be, and that it's a huge way of propping up our economy. And now this is under threat. It's a big story.
There's nothing left after that.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. The tracks aren't working. If the road freight industry is road freight industry is also benefiting. So I think they're also complicit.
Well, that's why I think it's boomed, because of the train issues. But now you've got these companies that are not, and
like
companies,
the taxi industry.
Exactly. So they hold them over a barrel. Yeah. The next story is, and I hadn't realized this. So this obviously started going viral a few days ago, and this is when the reports came out that it's the end of the Ford Fiesta era. I mean, I never have had a Ford Fiesta, but it is one of the most popular cars in many countries, and it's been around for 47 years. So it was a kind of sad day. I think it was on Friday, #Ford Fiesta Friday, I think they called it, and the end of Ford Fiesta, that the last of the Ford Fiestas were made in Blue Oval's Cologne plant in Germany. And people were online posting lots of memories and photographs of the Ford Fiestas that had over all the decades, 47 years of Ford Fiestas, and such a range of shapes. If you look at the ones back 40 years ago, very different look from the ones of today. Just a hugely popular car, and a lot of sad stories about how people are going to miss their Ford Fiestas. And they're keeping the last two. One is being kept, I think, at the factory, and one is being put into a sort of, an heritage hall of memory of some kind.
I got mine in 1990.
Oh, so you had one?
42 years ago. 42 years ago. And that car would take me from Windhoek to Joburg. It's probably the Ford Fiesta that enabled my first radio job in South Africa.
Oh, that's amazing.
Back then.
Amazing. Yeah. So you actually have a soft spot for the old Ford Fiesta.
I do. She took me there, and I mean, I'd go there kind of often. I'd just buy my lonesome.
Yeah, people just
She took me there
them.
and back,
Yeah. And then finally on the sports front, it wasn't only a great weekend for the Bokke. What I didn't know, because I'm not a big follower of mixed martial arts, but Dricus du Plessis, who is South Africa's leading mixed martial arts fighter, he took down Australia's champion Robert Whittaker 6-0, 6-love, how do you say it? I'm sure there's a way of saying it in mixed martial arts terms. And
6-zop. That's what we say on the Cape Flats.
Okay, well then that's the one we should use. And I just wanted to make this point. His win was made all the sweeter when Conor McGregor, who is probably like the world's most famous MMA fighter, tweeted out, huge congrats to South African MMA and South Africa, period, exclamation mark. That is an incredible win for them inside the UFC's octagon. Title fight next for sure. Let's go, SA. And he did an emoji of our flag and a heart. And it's had, so far, it's had 2.8 million views, 40,000, over 40,000 likes, and many reshares and comments. So, yay, South Africa.
Drikkers for president.
Drikkers. Go Drikkers.
Go Drikkers.
And the Bokke.
He's got like a six-pack. Have you seen
No,
the
it's
picture of
serious. Some serious six-pack action there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll sort
And
out
the video of
Becky's
him,
problem.
yeah, the video of him winning is actually cool. He's very excited about his win. It's awesome.
I can't watch that violence. Cannot.
Peace.
Refuse to. Yeah, I'm there. I'm going to talk about trees later on. I'm a tree hugger. We're going to talk about all the little secrets contained in the tree. It can tell you so much about time, but that's a little later on. First, we're going to wrap up our conversation with our guest representing the Spectrum Party, Christopher Claassen, and they're going to be joining the Moonshot Pact. So let's find out more about the Moonshot Pact next. Flexi Gaini. Get Natasha Gert's electricity tariffs at full. She will buckle if you want a buckle. It is 9:43. Welcome back, Views and News with me, Clarence, till 12 o'clock. We started the conversation a little earlier this morning with Mr. Christopher Claassen. He's with the Spectrum National Party. They will be joining the Moonshot Pact. So we're going to pick it up there. Got a sense of what you are or how you're positioning. You're not really giving us nuts and bolts. Maybe we don't have the time. Maybe I should just tell you that I came through as a hardcore Trotskyite. In 1994, I voted left, furthest left, because I thought we needed a left of centre opposition. So I was voting for opposition. I was a hardcore Trotskyite. I'm more of a social democrat at this moment in time. But I still believe that a democracy pertinent to this particular continent needs to emerge from our own customs and our own norms. And I think, maybe the Greek models that we are still using, maybe they should also be assigned to their place in history. But yeah, so now you're doing this pact. You're getting into this pact. You're saying this is pragmatic politics. You've got to get together to win.
Absolutely. Clarence, let's be honest. We are not happy with the ANC's performance. Everything is falling apart. The DA took the initiative and said, listen here, political parties, the only way to beat the ANC, let us stand together, let us form a pact, and this is the way. When we heard for the first time about this pact, I contacted the DA's office, and I asked them, I would like to meet with Leader John Steenhuisen because we want to be part of this pact. There are previous issues with coalitions, and I made it very clear to my team, the Spectrum National Party, NEC, said, listen, leaders, if we want to change this country and fix this country, let us join this pact. Let us forget about even if we've been unhappy with the DA's performance or whatever complaints we ever had prior to, let us forget about it. Let us come together. And I can honestly tell you, there's currently now 8 political parties involved, and maybe I'll mention the name, Spectrum, it is DA, Freedom Front Plus, Action SA, UIM, United Independent Movement, BOSA, by Mani, Build One South Africa, Inkatha Freedom Party, and NFP. This is the current parties involved. We have approached other political parties, and I can honestly tell you, some people are scared to join the pact because they think that the DA is part of the pact. Oh, it's going to be, things are not going to go well with the DA involved here. But I can honestly tell you, we had 7 meetings so far, and we started about 2 months ago with the first meeting. And I can honestly tell you, as a new politician being part of this pact, I can tell you, there's peace, there's respect. We work together as a team, and no parties in charge here.
Let us just understand where the pact is at. Are you still talking about talks, or are you beyond those talks?
We are busy with not negotiations really, but we're busy now getting things, the technical side involved.
Are you fleshing out agreements?
Yes, we are going to meet next month. We're going to meet in Johannesburg, where documentation will be signed, and we say we're going to abide and we're going to commit ourselves to the spec.
Have you established principles?
Yes, we are currently busy with it now. We've got a technical committee who's currently busy making sure they draft.
What would you say should be the binding principles of the Moonshot Pact?
Well, first of all, there need to be agreement. We need to have more or less the same ideology. What does South Africans really need? That is very important because every party got their own visions. And Spectrum, for example, say 4 political...
Job, Canala.
And what we are saying is that how much we differ from one another in certain areas. For example, Spectrum got 4 deputy presidents, one from each race group, other parties don't. So we're busy now drafting documentation. What does South Africans need? Forget about what we want as a political party. Forget about what DA wants or Freedom Front wants. Forget about it. What does South Africans need? So the technical committee is busy drafting documentation. And when we meet in Johannesburg, then we will sign documentation and to say this is going to be the way forward and this is the best thing that we can do to fix South Africa.
So when Walid pitched this conversation to me, it's the first time that I heard about the Spectrum Party. And it's like that. The bigger party dominate the news. So I've been in news. I've been, not in news, but I've been in media for a long time. If I did not confront the Spectrum Party on my day-to-day kind of a job, I can imagine a whole lot of South Africans didn't.
Yeah.
I would imagine then also that the kind of numbers that you posted in your inaugural election, when was that, 2022?
2021
was very little. How many votes did you get?
We didn't get any seats. We got about the votes we got was very little, probably about 6,000-7,000, and we had a big debate about it.
Is that nationally?
It was nationally in the 26 municipalities we had.
Yeah.
We couldn't do campaigning because it's COVID. We couldn't do nothing. We couldn't raise money because nobody wanted to. And a lot of political parties came together because we think that we've been ripped, we've been rigged our votes. How on earth can a ward candidate standing in one ward, he's the ward candidate and have 0 votes?
Yeah.
It's impossible. At least you must have 2 votes because you vote for the provincial and you vote for the candidate and you also vote for the party. Yeah. It's these 2 votes.
No, I'm trying to understand how it is impossible for you to be considered equal within this pact to the DA with a negligible base to point to.
Yeah. Clarence, at this moment, everybody's equal in the pact. Nobody's higher than the other one. We make it very clear. We're going to come together as a political party and not coming here as how big you are. And I must honestly tell whoever thinks that it's not going to work and it's not working and there's a friction in the pact, that is not true. Every week, there's a different chairperson. So each political party leader gets an opportunity to be the chairperson week after week. And that makes this pack so unique. And I don't know what is the previous agreements with other packs before. Is there one party who's the chairperson all the time? And we're also looking at the independent facilitator, somebody who's neutral, who's not going to take sides of any political party, just to make sure that we're flowing. And that makes, and I love it. I love it. You know what, the respect it is there for one another. I think after the next month's convention we're going to have in Johannesburg, I think there we're going to meet each other one-on-one.
It sounds like you sold before negotiations are done.
I love it.
So you sold before negotiations are done.
We got to fix it.
Okay, you sold. You sold on the moonshot pact.
Absolutely.
You remember before it's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now within this pact there are, there are the Freedom Front Plus, and there is, and I'm signalling out, you are talking to Action SA.
That's correct.
They are looking to erode the DA's constituency. They're looking to erode that base and have been making inroads into that particular base.
Yeah. Clarence,
Are they not competitive anymore?
we made it very, very clear. No political party is going to dictate in the spec. We're all going to be neutral here. Forget about your party style, big you are, small you are. We're going to work together as a team here. Although there's some issues with other political parties, should they join or should they not join? But we said the pack is open for all political parties to remove the ANC from power. We need to get 50% plus votes to remove the ANC from power.
I hear you, but the nature of the game is such, and this is going to, I have no doubt, be a term of your pact negotiations, that we will assemble government when we win in 2024 according to the numbers that we've achieved at the polls. That's going to leave you again without a seat and a voice.
Absolutely.
Or do you not think that is going to be the outcome? How can you formalize some kind of pact that governs? Let's just say the ANC loses before the outcome of the vote is in.
Yeah, the coalition will only take place the day of the election once we know what the total votes are. But for now, we are busy negotiations.
Is there a principle in terms of the number of votes?
Not at this moment. We will probably finalize everything after the convention.
Do you think it's going to be percentages that is going to kind of dictate the, let's call it, the way government is going to be constituted in a winning pact?
We have not made the final decision on that one yet, so we're still busy with the negotiation.
How do you personally as Spectrum Party feel about that as a minority party?
Well, we feel, I can become the president of South Africa. We haven't made a decision yet. John Steenhuisen made it very clear. Doesn't matter mean that...
Wouldn't you make demands
Not
beforehand? Because in your particular instance, you don't have that base.
Yeah, we want to stay as humble in working together with the spec and
There's
not
nothing
dictating.
humble about politics in this country.
And not dictating, because at the end of the day, it's not about Christopher Claassen or about SNP, it's about South Africans. John Steenhuisen made it very clear. Doesn't mean that they are the second majority, second biggest party in South Africa, that they should be the president of South Africa when the pack wins. We are still, as a pack, going to decide who is going to be the president. How is the cabinet going to look like? Should we win the 2024 elections? The outcome will determine it. But prior to that, we are going to make a decision.
Yeah.
Prior to that, and say, well, we'll take the lead for us as the president of South Africa.
I think it's necessary for there to be some kind of consolidation in the South African political arena. But I also want to see civil society being part of a pact.
Yeah.
Do you think it is possible for civil society to be part of this moonshot pact? Maybe not in the form of a political party, but maybe in another kind of form and structure.
Clarence, we want everybody to come on board. You know what? Everybody wants positions. Everybody wants money, and and we want also independents to come on board. We are busy with discussions with independent parties who want to come and join. We don't care who's going to join, Clarence. We want political parties who are registered with the Independent Electoral Commission to come on board. We don't care if it's EFF. If EFF must come and join us, we must come and join. But there are rules in the spec. Don't come and dictate. You know what? And there's going to be also kingpins as well. We're going to decide, hey, I'm not going to be part of the spec. Let us see quickly who's going to where. If we're going to be like a 48% ANC coalition with the EFF, or 48% DA, all the political parties are involved now, there will be probably one political party going to decide, are we going to join the ANC to take them over the 50%? Or are we going to join this existing moonshot pack of us, take it over the 50%? And I think there's going to be some key players as well. And some parties going to wait for election day. But so far, we said there's no coalitions yet. We can only make that coalition take place, or a reality of the day when we see the amount of voters coming through.
Yeah, I think people are so disillusioned with politics in this particular country.
Absolutely.
And you as a political party, albeit that
Absolutely.
you're an upstart with a small base at this moment in time, must take responsibility for that.
Absolutely.
For us, our decisions are around better the devil we know. We cannot continue politics in that particular manner. We need more, and especially that word humble. We need more humility and accountability
Absolutely.
from the political parties. That is what we want to see.
There's a lot of new political parties coming on board now. And people say, why don't all the political parties not come together and form one political party? There's a talk. People feel, the voters feel like it. But sometimes voters also don't understand that every political party has got their own ideology. They got their own vision for South Africa. People don't understand. Like, for example, Spectrum. We feel like to fix the inequality in this country. We feel like let us get men, women, youth, disabled, the elderly, all cultural groups, get them on board. Well, other parties maybe don't feel that youth should be in the NEC on the top structures. We want to fix the things that hurts people.
But civil societies there on the streets of South Africa, while the politicians are threatening to fix stuff. Civil societies giving people food, giving people medication, helping people.
Why should it be like give of the givers? We want to get on board. There's 1 million movement. There is justice for farmers. We want them to come on board. They've got thousands of followers. And I'm sure the thousands of followers that is part of their organization or part of the following them is also part of a political party. I might be a follower of Give of the Givers, but I'm also a supporter of Spectrum National Party. So what we say as a PAC say, we want all organizations, NPOs and NPCs and PBOs and NGOs, come on board, all political parties come on board. Let us remove the ANC from power, whether it's EFF and Patriotic Alliance and good parties. Come on board, let us remove the ANC, then we will take South Africa to the next level. Now all political parties now involved, and once we're all involved, then we can say, well, what do you think, what's the best way to fix crime? What do you think, what's the best way to fix unemployment? Then we are a stronger team together, and maybe we can still decide, okay, who's going to be the deputies?
We're going to have to wrap it up. Unfortunately, Joe, my timekeeper, whoops me if we go over. It's been lekker chatting with you, and we appreciate the opportunity. Christopher Claassen, Spectrum National Party. I think it's stealthy. I think it's strategic. I think the pact is going to give you a lot more profile since you are an upstart, and we wish you well. Out on that side, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It is nearly time for news at 10 o'clock. Sorry about that, but can I go?
Good on you.
Can I go? What's any mensen?